Here's Navarro on the run. Navarro's going to keep it. Navarro for 6. Touchdown, Bobcat.
I can feel I had a hard time staying in my own lane.
Oh my goodness!
Red Murdoch, pick 6. Harvath inside the 30 to 20. Blake Harvath will score.
And Mendoza takes a big hit. He never saw it coming. Trey White got in there.
There's his man, Rucker. And nobody's going to catch him. Goodbye.
Intercepted. Tyree Skipper. Touchdown.
Telly again, why not? A step forward and make it 2 for Telly.
Quarterback keeper showing off the speed. Steps on the gas. Untouched.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive, where we bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I'm Luke. I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. Justice, anything before we get going?
I was just going to say thanks, Tim. Timothy said loves our podcast. He listens to us every week. So thank you for the support, Tim. Website's live. Maybe this week I can find some time during the week to kind of go over all the stuff again. Like we did the initial announcement video, and a lot's changed, right? I don't know if it's changed, but there's been a lot of additions.
Added, yeah.
A lot of stuff added since that first video. And maybe I'll just break it down by, each I'll do a video maybe for each individual tool, et cetera. And we're constantly adding tools. We have a new one that should be available this week. And then we're working on another new one. Hopefully it's available next week. So, constantly coming out with new stuff for you guys on the website. If you're interested, go to g5hive.com. If you go to our X profile, you'll find a promo code where you can get half off your first year subscription. So, yeah, thanks everyone for the support and feedback we've gotten so far. All the feedback on the website's been really, really positive. And we've gotten a couple suggestions that we've already incorporated in some of the tools. So yeah, cool stuff.
All right, let's head over to the Sun Belt Conference. All right, Week 11 in review. We had our Thursday game, Georgia Southern at App State. This one was all Georgia Southern until about the halfway point in the third quarter. At this point, it's 22-3 Georgia Southern. Then A.J. Swan started to catch fire, and the defense started stepping up. With about 5 minutes in the third, he found tight end David Larkins for a 1-yard touchdown, but they failed the 2-point conversion, so it's 22-9. Then App State's defense forced Georgia Southern to punt. App State would score another touchdown. This time it was a 27-yard Jakari Lewis touchdown run. Now App State has cut the lead to 6, and the momentum is on their side at home. Georgia Southern would have to settle for a field goal on 4th and 2 at the App State 7. I honestly thought they were going to, might just go for it at that point. But I don't know. Things got a little tight, and they decided to kick the ball. Now, App State's down 9, and the story of the year for A.J. Swan has been his turnovers. He threw an INT on 1st and 10 at the Georgia Southern 23-yard line, just a killer. However, App State's defense would force a 3-and-out. App State got the ball with 5:11 left, down 9. Swan would find the man of the night, Jaden Barnes, for a 16-yard touchdown. Barnes had 13 receptions on 19 targets for 160 yards and 1 touchdown. What struck me as odd was that App State had all of their timeouts. They're going to kick off to Georgia Southern. They're down 2. They decide to go for an onside kick. Like, their defense has been stepping up. Honestly, like, how App State was playing in that moment, you could have gone 99 yards in 59 seconds. Like, that wouldn't have surprised me. But they go for an onside kick, and it was a good onside kick. But Georgia Southern recovered it. It was right up the middle. Georgia Southern guy hit it with, I think, his right hand, kind of popped up. Another guy grabbed it, but like it was a good onside kick. Good try. But I just thought they were going to kick it deep. Defense is playing well. They would have good field possession. However, with Barnes and Swan, they're just connecting. I figured they could have scored a touchdown within seconds. Like I said, go 99 yards in 59 seconds would not have surprised me, which is, again, why I was kind of puzzling for the onside kick. But Georgia Southern was able to get some first downs on the ground. They would run the ball 7 straight times to end the game. Georgia Southern escapes with a 25-23 win.
It's interesting, like Jaden Barnes. I think you can look at Jaden Barnes' stats, and you can tell who the quarterback is. Like
AJ Swan in.
If AJ Swan's in, Jaden Barnes is having a great day. If it's JJ Cole, Jaden Barnes is non-existent.
Yeah, it's Dozier.
Yeah, I think the one consistency is the tight end. Now, it ended up being Larkins. I thought it would be Hamlet. Hamlet was the guy that come in for Isaiah Cummings, who's out for the year at the ODU game. Hamlet was the one that had the big day after Cummings went out against ODU. I assumed it was him, but it was Larkins this week against the Eagles. But yeah. I mean, I think both quarterbacks have had turnover issues. JJ Cole had quite a few against Old Dominion, which got him benched, and AJ Swan came in and looked good in his. I think he led him to two touchdowns against Old Dominion, but he has his own turnover issues.
All right, let's move into our Saturday games. James Madison at Marshall. James Madison looked good in the first half. They were rolling. It's 21-12. Marshall kicker, Lorcan Quinn. Boy, this boy has a leg. He had a 49 and 52-yard field goal in the first half. I mean, dude could probably be good for 60, maybe even 65. He absolute cannon of a leg.
Lorcan, another guy we talked about in our Worker Bee series with the Thundercast when we previewed the herd. They were excited to get Lorcan Quinn there in Huntington.
All right. In the second half, the Dukes offense struggled a bit as their only real highlight was their one play, 80-yard drive that saw a connection between Barnett and Jalen Sanchez. Honestly, thought at a point in the game, I think it was about 7:47 left in the third, you thought that JMU's up 28-12. I just thought that would be it. Like, JMU going to roll in this one. However, Marshall would respond with a touchdown. Then the Thundering Herd would force a takeaway and then turn that into 3 points. So now all of a sudden it's 28-23. JMU with 10 minutes left in the fourth. Marshall would force a 3-and-out, but do nothing on offense. The defense would force another 3-and-out. And then the key point in this game came down to 4th and 2 from the JMU 45. Antoine Roberts would get stuffed. Then JMU would score quick on a 49-yard pass from Barnett to Wayne Knight. JMU goes up 35-23 with 2:16 left, and that would be the final. JMU wins.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 75 game for Marshall, so I thought that would give them some, a little bit extra, and I think it did. But at the end of the day, the better team did win the game. As much as it pains me to say that.
Southern Miss at Arkansas State. First offensive play was a pass from Raynor to Chauncey Cobb, who would fumble the ball, which I feel like has started to become more Cobb in here the last 2-3 weeks. Southern Miss would recover and score 3. Early in this one, Braylon Braxton ran for 16 yards right up the middle, about midfield, but he would land right on his right kneecap. It went straight into the turf. It looked hard. He started limping after it, but he would finish the drive. That honestly, they should have got a touchdown, but they ended up getting stopped on 4th down at the Arkansas State 5. He would miss a few series, but he would come back later in the first half. At this point in the time, he just finished the drive. It's 7-3 Arkansas State, but when he would return, it's 17-7. So they were able to do pretty well. Let's move on to the fourth quarter. It's 27-14 Southern Miss. Arkansas State would get the ball with 5:34 left. They were able to punch it in on a Raynard pass, and the Red Wolves are now down 6, 27-21 with 5:13 left. They would get their chance as they would get the ball with 1:09 left, march it down the field on 2nd and 10 from the Southern Miss 13 with 4 seconds left. Rayner would throw an INT. Southern Miss escapes. Rayner threw 4 interceptions in this one. Something that happened way back, I think it was in the first quarter, could have been in the second quarter. It was just a weird play. So Arkansas State punts it to Southern Miss. Southern Miss calls for a fair catch, and he's like standing at the 2, and he touches it. That bounces into the end zone, and Arkansas State recovers it. So everyone in the stadium, everyone like on the defense are like they're signaling for a safety because it touched the guy's hand. And that's what I thought. I'm like, you muffed the punt.
Right. They looked at it for a while.
Yeah, they looked at it. It's end up called a touchback because he never had possession of it, which I still don't get. Maybe I don't know, but like I don't know. I live in Iowa. I was there. There was a punt. There was a fair catch that wasn't called a fair catch. And they fumbled. I don't know. I thought it was a safety, but I don't know. Just me. It was a weird play. Anyways, That's what it got called because he didn't possess the ball, and then, or that's what it was. So Arkansas State didn't recover it in the end zone. Southern Miss recovered it in the end zone. So because they called for a fair catch, but they didn't actually possess it in the field of play, their possession came in the end zone, and that's where they were touched. It came out as a touchback. So weird play. All right, Georgia State at Coastal Carolina. This Coastal team is a brand new team since Samari Collier has taken over. If they were to play ODU at this point, I don't think it's 44-7, whatever that game was. Yeah. I think that would be a whole different game. First offensive possession, he took it 85 yards to the house. The first quarter was exciting as each team would score twice. After the first half, it was 23-14 in favor of Coastal. Third quarter was all Coastal, but what sealed the game was a Collier to Camario English, who I think maybe was a UNC commit at one point. I think maybe he even went there. It was a 3-yard touchdown pass, put Coastal up 33-14 with 1:43 left in the third. Georgia State only had 2 first downs in the corner. They just did not move the ball very well. Coastal would end up winning this one 40-27. But the wild thing I want to point out, and it happened in the fourth, is Georgia State not only recovered 1 onside kick, but 2 in back-to-back tries. Georgia State scored on a touchdown to make it 40-20, then an onside, and then a touchdown to make it 40-27, then an onside. They got the turnover on downs. Had they scored a touchdown and made that one 40-34, that really would have made things crazy. Like onside kicks, you just don't see them and happen in back-to-back tries. That was pretty impressive.
And multiple. If they had scored, it would have been multiples.
Yeah. All right. Texas State at Louisiana. This was a back and forth in the first, but the second quarter Louisiana. The second quarter was Louisiana's momentum as Louisiana would take 14-7 lead on a 27-yard passing touchdown from Lunch Winfield to Caden Jensen. Then it was Jackson on Jackson crime as Brad Jackson would be intercepted by Cody Jackson. Louisiana would turn that into 7 points, and then Texas State on the next Texas State drive would end in a sack fumble recovered by Louisiana. They would go to turn that into 7 more points. Each team would tack on another touchdown prior to the half, and it's 35-17 Louisiana. There were only 3 points scored in the third quarter. It's now 35-20 in favor of Louisiana. Then the fourth quarter it got fun. Each team would score a touchdown as it's 42-26 with about 12 minutes to go in the game. Lunch would be intercepted. Brad Jackson would find Bo Sparks immediately for a 38-yard touchdown within 19 seconds. They would not get the 2-point conversion, so it was a 10-point deficit. Louisiana would go 3 and out. Texas State was able to score again to make it 42-39 with 3:12 left in the game. On 3rd and 13, Sampson would gain 19. Then 3 straight Texas State penalties would give Louisiana a free 25 yards. Then on 4th and 2 from the Texas State 31, Lunch keeps it, runs for 7. Louisiana holds on for a 42-39 win. Things got chippy at the end as Texas State would have an unnecessary roughness penalty on that Lunch Winfield 2-yard loss. Then there's the brawl that we talked about at the beginning that happened and all those suspensions that came thereafter. Sunbelt Conference Bowl eligibility. We've got ODU, Southern Miss, Troy, JMU, and our new team to add this week, Coastal Carolina. Chance up. Week 12 preview. Thursday game. Justice will be at the game. Troy at Old Dominion, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. ODU favored by 11.5. Over under set at 53.5. I'm not touching it. We got a quarterback controversy here for Troy. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'll just watch the game.
Give me ODU laying the points. It's a Thursday night game, national TV, ESPN. ESPN Sports Center is going to be broadcasting live from Old Dominion 2 to 3 p.m. that day. I plan on being there with a sign or two. So if you're watching ESPN, look out. I plan on having a G5 Hive sign. We'll see if I can make it up on Sports Center. ODU plays well on Thursday nights, man. ODU plays well after a bye week under Ricky Ronnie. I think ODU. I mean, we saw it last year. The best game ODU played all last season
Georgia Southern.
Same thing. A Thursday night game, prime time ESPN against Georgia Southern. I mean, they absolutely destroyed Georgia Southern. I think if they can not have so many turnovers, they can not turn the ball over. I think ODU can have something similar. But they had a propensity to turn the ball over this year, and it kind of keeps games closer than they should. Drone show at halftime. It's Military Appreciation Week. Ricky Ronnie, they just released a video that was recorded from back in August where Ricky Ronnie got to fly in a fighter jet. I mean, I think the crowd's gonna be electric. It's gonna be a fun time, fun game. I think Colton Joseph, Trey Brown, Ja'Cory Thomas, Naeem Gladding. One thing to know about Troy is their slot corner is not very good, and they give up a lot of points to the slot wide receiver. So I'm expecting a huge game from Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding. He's the slot receiver for ODU. I think Colton Joseph can have a big game on the ground as well. We saw what Lunch Winfield did against Troy a couple weeks ago, and I think Colton's a better runner than Lunch, and obviously a better passer too. So you got that threat of the passing game. I look for ODU to have a big game and a big win against Troy. We don't know they're going to start Goose or Tucker. They say they're both going to play. It just feels like if Goose is the starter, he gets hit hard one time, maybe he goes back out. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun game, and hopefully ODU can get a W. And if ODU wins the game, it'll be the first time under Ricky Ronnie that they have had a winning season. That'll get him to 7 wins. So let's hope ODU can pull it off.
All right, Saturday games. Marshall at Georgia State, 2 p.m. Eastern. Marshall favored by 7.5 points. Over under set at 63.5. I'm going to lay the points with Marshall. Georgia State just hasn't been playing well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Marshall on the road.
Yeah, I agree. Carlos Del Rio Wilson, Lacey should have DeMarcus Lacey should have both should have big games for the herd. Antoine Roberts, another one, I think, have a big game. And Georgia State looks better with Cameron Brown, man, but they got bigger problems as just a quarterback. I don't think Del McGee gets fired after 2 years, but man, you got to think he starts next year on the hot seat.
All right. App State at number 24, James Madison, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. JMU favored by 21.5. Over under set at 53.5. I think I'm going to lay the points with JMU. I'm going to assume AJ Swan's going to start. I'm going to assume AJ Swan's going to throw 2 interceptions. Just going to be hard to win on the road against this defense. They're playing pretty well. Give me JMU laying it with the points.
Give me App State in the points. It sounds crazy. But App State always plays JMU tough. A couple years ago, JMU's first year in the FBS, very similar situation to this year. JMU was ranked. They were talking about, hey, should we be able to play in playoffs? Should we play in playoffs? Should we be in the Sun Belt Championship game?
Not the playoffs, but it was we need to be bowl
eligible. The New Year's Six bowl game is what it was back then. They were writing letters to senators, and the Virginia senators were writing letters, and all this stuff, all this hype about JMU. And guess who came to town? An App State team that wasn't very good, but they pulled off the upset in Harrisonburg. So yeah, I don't think App State wins the game, but I do think they cover the spread.
So you just said something there at the beginning. You said, it might be crazy. I don't think so. I'm the one who took Sam Houston and the points. So I think I could be the clinically crazy.
I mean, to the average fan, it's going to seem crazy, right? But App State, man, like I said, they have some history with JMU. And, again, this situation reminds me of 2 years ago, kind of the same thing. App State, JMU's ranked, getting a lot of hype, and App State came to town 2 years ago and beat James Madison. I don't think they beat him this year, but I do think they cover that spread.
Sorry. Excuse me. South Alabama at UL Monroe, 30:30 p.m. Eastern. South Alabama favored by 4.5. Over under set at 51.5. I think I'm going to take the over 51.5. South Alabama scores pretty regularly, but you also don't know what kind of Davenport's going to show up in the game. But South Alabama's defense, hopefully they spent the bye week practicing form tackling, because that defense hasn't been good. I think UL Monroe can break a couple in this one. So I'm going to take the over 51.5.
I'm going to take South Alabama and lay the points. ULM is not good. They don't have much of a passing game at all, or a threat of a passing game. So I think South Alabama rolls in this game.
Texas State at Southern Miss, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Tough game to lose any kind of players in a brawl. Southern Mississippi favored by 5.5. Over under set 65.5. I'm gonna lay the points with Southern Miss. They're rolling, and what a turnaround!
I agree with you. I mean, I don't know, the brawl kind of feels like GJ Kinney has kind of lost the team, right? Obviously he admonished the behavior after the fact, but man, it's not a good year for the Bobcats. Offensively, they play fine. The defense is just really bad, and then they lose some of their best defensive players because of suspension. Southern Miss, though, man, we talked about last week, what a phenomenal job Coach Huff has done there, Coach Anderson. I feel pretty good about all that money I put on Southern Miss to win the Sun Belt West. It looks like they have a 1-game lead right now on Troy Old Dominion. If Old Dominion beats Troy, that gives them a 2-game lead. Yeah, Southern Miss, worst to first. Quite a year for Southern Miss.
All right. And then Coastal Carolina at Georgia Southern, 6 p.m. Eastern. Georgia Southern favored by 2.5. Over-under set at 60.5. I think the wrong team's favored. Give me Coastal Carolina the points based off how they've been playing this the last month, and honestly how bad Georgia Southern's defense is against the running game.
Yeah.
In particular, the running back. Samari is more of a running back than he is a quarterback, so I assume he's going to run all over the place. I would expect if you could find like a player prop of him of 65 yards or more, you can outline that up to 90, 100, probably. He's going to crush.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the wrong team's favored. I like Coastal Carolina. Georgia Southern, like, they seem to be able to play good in spurts. Like, they'll play good in the first half or in the second half. They can't seem to, offensively, they can't really seem to put a whole game together. And I think that's what they would need to do to beat Coastal Carolina. Because, like, to your point, I don't think this defense is going to be able to stop Samari Collier and this running game for the Chanticleers. So yeah, give me the Chanticleers and the points. That's going to do it. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. On X, give us a follow. If you're listening on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We're so grateful for the immense amount of support that we have received over the course of this year with the website and everything that we do. We thank each and every one of you. Be sure to join us next week as we discuss what happened in Week 12. We look forward to what is coming in Week 13. And as always, bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. Till the next time, we are the G5 Hive.
First